Hi everyone, welcome to my little home studio. Various equipment in the background here, but we're just going to use the mat. So I just wanted to offer you a few movements to keep you going over the next few weeks until we meet in class again. So just like we normally do in class, have yourself a block or a pillow and come down to lying on your back. Okay, so we're just going to do some of that lovely, delicious diaphragmatic breath work that we do in class. So you'd be lying down just the way you find yourself on the mat. Legs are bent, back of the head on your pillow or block, and your arms just to the side. Just take a few gentle breaths there. And when you're ready, place your hands on your tummy and start to do a couple of breaths into the belly, into the pelvis. In through the nose, and just gently let it fall out the mouth. Once you've done 2 or 3 there, you take your hands just to the side of you and place them either way. Imagine my hands have just been placed on your rib cage and you're breathing into the sides of your ribs or into my hands or into your own hands. So you're breathing wide, breathing the edges of your t-shirt away from the spine and exhaling everything back in towards the spine. Breathing in, widening, breathing back out, everything contracts and comes out a little bit closer. And then a couple of breaths into the back of the body. So breath in, imagine that you're inflating the lungs at the very back in towards the back rib cage, moving you up a little bit closer to the ceiling and exhaling back down. So you're breathing in, sending it to the back of the body and back down. And you can do a few rounds of this. Just pause the video and do the belly, the ribs and the back again. From here, once you're finished with your breath, making sure your nose is tipped up towards the ceiling, and find that nice position that you're right on the sacrum here, on your back of your pelvis. So a nice way to do that is to get your fingertips onto the hip bones and notice if they're tipping in towards you or they're tipping away from you. So find that position where they're facing up, and that means your back, the weight is on the sacrum, just at the top of the bottom, the very base of the spine. And breathe there. Imagine I've placed a little marble just in between the pubic bone and the navel, and we're going to roll that little marble down towards the pubic bone through the legs with an inhale, and as you exhale, that marble rolls to the belly button. So we call these our pelvic clocks because we can draw a clock on the pelvis. The navel is 12, the left hip is 3, 6 is the pubic bone, and 9 is the right hip. So we're rolling that marble from 12 to 6. So 12 is coming into my navel, and then it just rolls towards the pubic bone. I've got my natural arch here, but in this rolling to 6 pose, I'm up a little bit at the navel, and then I'm coming in. So it's not a big press in to really flatten the back, it's just a gentle roll back of the pelvis. And you can allow your head to enjoy that gentle movement with the pelvis, because of course the cervical spine ends up right at the back of your skull, so it makes sense that the spine would move from the bottom right up to the top. So allow that gentle movement of the head with that 6 and 12 rocking. And then come to the middle of the sacrum. We'll do 3 and 9. So again, that little marble is placed right here, and we're just rolling the marble from left hip to right hip. So breath in, and then exhale, send that marble down to number 3 as you draw the opposite inner thigh away. Coming back through center, dropping down with the right hip as the other opposite thigh lengthens away. So you'll notice here that my legs aren't moving lots and lots, they are moving a little bit. So for that left hip to go down, the left leg wants to move a little, but the right leg is just reaching away from me to bring that hip up. So one hip goes down, the other hip comes up, the leg reaches away to bring that hip up. Rolling here. And we can go into the pelvic clocks, so breath in, going down to 12, pubic bone coming up, going round to the number 3, the left hip, taking the tailbone down to the mat, rolling round to the right hip, and going round again. So 12, and 3, and tailbone down 6, and right hip, and then go the opposite way. So really luxuriate in these, really imagine that you're drawing a large circle with those 4 points. So with the navel, back of the spine, the hip, the pubic bone or tailbone, and the other. Now if you want to be really fancy, come back to home and we can try and do 8 and 2 on the clock. So it's a diagonal. So instead of 3 and 9 on the hips, you're going 8 and 2. So it's like you're sending it down to 8 and the left hip to number 2 in the clock. So it's a diagonal movement that we're doing here. And this, although it feels a bit clunky at first, because we're doing them while lying on our back, it's actually what happens when we're walking. So the pelvic halves have to move in this diagonal way as we walk. So we're just replicating that very functional movement. And come to home, and we can do the opposite. So it would be 11, and let me think here, would it be 11 and 7? No, 7, 3, no, 11 and 4. So there we go. So just after our 3 in the left hip, and then just above the right hip. So below the left hip and above on the right hip. So imagine 5 being below the left and 11 being above the right. And that feels trickier for me. So it's always different side or different pattern, different movement that feels a bit trickier on one side of the body than the other, or one part of the body and the other. And just do a few clocks. Perfect. And bring your legs in for a little chest lift, and coming back down. And then from here we'll go and do our book openings. I'm just going to do one side, but you obviously do both. Okay, so coming out, you put your head on your block or your pillow, making sure you're nicely stacked at the hips and you're not really forward in the hips or back. Find yourself a nice alignment with your mat and you're down, and your shoulders are stacked here. So first of all, we can do our thoracic rotation. So bottom arm is out and the top arm is up. So the arm is coming over just the side of the face and we're looking front. Breathing in allowing that top elbow to come up towards the ceiling as our head and neck start to turn and chase the elbow almost. At the top of that movement, the elbow's facing up, breath in, and rotate. Now rotating from here, imagine that rotation is happening only here. We're not just throwing the arm back, we're really rolling it back from the middle of the body. Lovely. Spine articulation has to happen to allow that to happen. This elbow comes up to the ceiling and rolling round. And you can take a little bit further to close that movement. So again, elbow comes up the ceiling, head, neck and eyes start to follow. Breathing in. You exhale, rotate around. And you can take a nice breath in at the top of the movement. And notice how that increases the length a little bit more. And then as you exhale, you're closing that elbow. And then go for a full book opening, so both the arms are out. And to just accentuate the movement a little more, you can glide the hand over the top. So it's just a little glide like this. Gliding over, sending the shoulder and the arm a little bit longer. Then the arm coming up. Again, the head, neck and eyes are following the arm. Keeping that mindful of that shoulder away from the ears. Make sure you haven't sort of increased all the way up here. Still nice and long. Just in the arm in line with the shoulder. Breath in and send it over. Again, that same movement from the middle. We're opening. I've got my reformer in the way here. We're here. So we're making sure that the shoulder or the arm isn't overextending. So we're here. And then starting to bring the arm back up. And over. So the arm comes up. We're in shoulder height, facing the ceiling. Take a nice breath in. And as you exhale, rotating from the middle to rotate the neck, arm, shoulders and head and neck round. Take a breath in at the top of that movement. And then start coming back and around. And you'll get that sense of the top leg wanting to oppose the movement, otherwise it will come with you. So we're just trying to keep it there, which helps extend that length from the tip of the fingers to the knees and coming back around. So doing that on both sides, and then moving your block out of the way, and we'll come to a bridge. So we're on our back again. We're finding our feet parallel apart. Take a little look through, making sure they're not too far wide or too close in, although you can do the bridge in all of those positions, and I would encourage you to try and test and see how you feel. But this first one, I'm going to do in parallel movement and not too close to the buttocks with the heels. So the shoulders are wide. Our arms are just by the sides, and we're feeling that sense of the upper arm on the mat, engaged on the mat, which helps to open the collarbone a little more. So from here, send the weight into the feet. You've got your lead boots on, and you're sending the shins away, sending the knees away to articulate the spine up, articulating the pelvis up. Really think about that feeling that it's coming from the inner thighs, or the tailbone is what wants to come up. And from here, find that sense of width between the neck and the breastbone. So you're really weighted at the breastbone. We're not all the way up here on the shoulders and sending it up, 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 and the ribs are starting to extend. You're bringing it back down so that you can be on the top of your ribs, top of your shoulders. And really in your hamstrings here and not over in the glutes if possible. And let everything go and come back down. And release the tailbone at the end. So we'll do another one there. So sending the shins away, send the knees away, bringing that idea of the sacrum, the tailbone coming up through the legs, and we're just here on the upper back. So remember, we're not sending it all the way up. We're here with this nice long diagonal. Still got my lowest ribs and the hips still nicely feeling that they're connected, all in that core. I'm still in my hamstrings. If I press into my feet, I can feel them on. And then release everything to come back down. We can bring in arm marks. So our arm marks first. So their palms are facing on the mat, arms on the mat. And then reaching the arms up in this lovely arc. And coming only as far as I can keep these ribs still in this connection with the hips. And coming back. So I'm keeping my rib to hip connection as the shoulder moves back. If they start to feel like I need to send the thoracic up and back to get back, then we're only reteaching that movement. So I'd rather keep everything as steady as you can into the range of motion that's good for you. So if this is that range of motion, that's okay for today, and just stay there. If you can come all the way back, feel that tension between wanting to keep your tailbone down as the arms reach back. And then coming back. You can play with the arm marks, doing them with the thumbs facing down. Turning at the top and leading with the little finger coming down. And that sense of really opening, keeping the opening at the collarbone, and you're widening at the armpit and back. And I can feel the sense that my pelvis wants to come and tip with me, but I'm keeping everything as best I can on the mat with ease, trying not to hold on or grip too much at my hip flexors, at the back of my body. And often you'll find the first few of these always feel a little smaller in the range of movement, and then as you keep going, you're teasing that fascia, teasing the tissues out a little more, and you'll be able to go a bit further on the next couple. You can do these with your bridge, of course, so start to send the bridge up as the arms come up, coming up to your arm marks, and then the arms come down, and I let everything go. Okay, so that is probably about enough as anybody will get around to doing. So I'm going to leave it there. But yeah, feel free to keep going on doing the wee video as much as you can. Have a great Easter holiday. Bye.